Hi, Miss Florence here again. I'm going to finish up reading the story Harold's Fairy Tale by Crockett Johnson. And if I read over one small page again, excuse me. Okay, so anyway, to fill the hole in the castle, Harold put a handsome and useful clock in it. He was surprised to see how late it was. Move over this way, sorry. And he slid down the steeple to find the invisible witch or giant right away. So that's when he made the clock, and he's sliding down the steeple to find that invisible giant or witch. It wasn't a steeple, it was a pointed hat. It was a giant witch. The purple crayon made it plain. It was an invisible giant witch. Well, no wonder nothing grew in the enchanted garden. How could anything grow, Harold said to himself, with a giant witch trampling around with big feet? There's her big feet. Now that he saw what the trouble was, all Harold had to do was drive the witch out of the enchanted garden. Mosquitoes, mosquitoes, Harold knew, will drive anybody out of a garden. There he is, there's the witch, and there's all the mosquitoes he's drawn in there to get the witch out of the garden. The mosquitoes drove out the witch. They also were driving Harold out of the garden. Harold had to make smoke to get rid of the mosquitoes. Now here's all the mosquitoes. He made so many of them. So then he made smoke to get the mosquitoes away. And he had once heard somebody say that where there's smoke, there must be fire. To put out the fire, he made like fire with logs or branches. To put out the fire, he first thought of fire engines, but he decided to make it rain. Rain was easier. See, there he is making like a big campfire, and it's all smoky there. And now he wanted to get the smoke out, so he drew rain. The rain soaked everything, Harold too. But he said, it's good for the flowers. He was right. Soon there were flowers. See all the rain, and now he's drawn the flowers. Beautiful flowers popped up all over the enchanted garden, more than Harold was able to count. All in glorious bloom. Harold thought how delighted and happy the king would be when he looked out from the castle in the morning. See? All the flowers grew. And then, amazingly, the last flower turned out to be not a flower at all, but a lovely fairy. She held out her magic wand as fairies always do when they're giving somebody wishes that will come true. And she's going to ask him, there's the fairy, she's going to ask him now what wishes he wants. Harold couldn't think of a thing to wish for, but to be polite, he took one wish and told the fairy that he'd use it for later. Besides, Harold thought, as he started on his long walk home, a wish might come in handy sometime. So he thought, I'll save it for later. After all the excitement, he finally felt tired. He stopped to rest for a while. He sat on a small rug because the ground was still somewhat damp from the rain, and he wished. See, there's the rug. He wished the rug was a flying carpet. At once Harold felt it rise in the air. It flew high, fast and high. But when it went so fast, it left the moon behind. Harold realized he didn't know how to stop the carpet or even slow it down. He wished he had taken 2 wishes from the fairy so he could wish the flying carpet would land. See, it's flying up there and he's trying to figure out how to land it. But he did have his purple crayon. He landed the flying carpet in his living room, right behind the high back chair his mother sat sitting in. And he asked her to read him a story before he went back to bed. The end. Thank you so much for listening. See you again.